Tēnā koutou whānau. This video was recorded on the 5th of June 2022. Today, I would like to share with you some of the information I have regarding my great-great-grandfather, Henry Urbin COLES. And here we can see a photograph of Henry. Henry Urbin COLES was the son of Samuel Coles and Elizabeth Robinson. Henry had a sister as well as other siblings, but his sister's name was Helen, and Helen married Charles Revell. I have discussed both Elizabeth and Helen briefly in a previous video, but once again, here is a photograph of the two of them. On the right, we have Henry's sister Helen, and seated on the left is Henry's mother Elizabeth. Henry COLES was married 3 times, and as you can see, he fathered many children. His first wife was Ada Louisa Kerr. Henry's second wife was Daisy Irene Lowe, and his third wife was Elizabeth Pearl Weston. Here we can see Henry's birth certificate. Henry was born on the 14th of January 1875 in Waimea Road in Nelson. We can see here his name, Henry Urbin. Note that the second name Urbin is spelled U-R-B-I-N, not A-N. He was listed as a boy, and his father's name was Samuel Coles. And here we see his mother's name, Elizabeth Coles, maiden name Robinson. Henry's father Samuel was listed as a labourer. And here we can see the informant's details. The informant is the person who provided this information, and as we can see, it was Henry's father, Samuel Coles. And this information was registered on the 27th of January 1875. And here we can see the registrar's details, Robert Pickett. Here we can see Henry's marriage certificate to his first wife, Ada Louisa Kerr, and this marriage was registered in the district of Nelson. Henry and Ada were married on the 16th of March 1897 at All Saints Church in Nelson. Here we can see their names, Henry Urbin COLES and Ada Louisa Kerr. Henry's age at the time was given as 22, and Ada's age was 19. Henry's profession is given as a labourer. Henry declared himself to be a bachelor, in other words, not married, and likewise Ada was unmarried, she was a spinster. Henry's birthplace was Nelson, and Ada's birthplace was Wakefield. Wakefield is a small rural area not far from Nelson. Both of them gave their present residence as being Nelson and their usual residence as being Nelson. And we can see here Henry's father is listed as Samuel Coles, a gas fitter, and Ada's father is listed as John Kerr, a labourer. Henry's mother is listed as Elizabeth Coles, maiden name Robinson, and Ellen Kerr, that's Ada's mother, was listed as maiden name Kite. We can see here that Henry and Ada had a lot of children. The first child was Cyril Arthur Coles, then Mabel Muriel Coles, followed by my great-grandmother, Eva Olive Coles, otherwise known as Nana Tweedy, who we have discussed in a previous video. They then had Doris Myrtle Coles, Leslie Raymond Coles, Stanley Eaton Coles, Grace Lillian Coles, Leo Eric Coles, Harvey Douglas Coles, Lindsay Nelson Coles, and finally Zeta Gladys Coles. I'm not aware of the circumstances of the ending of this marriage. Henry later married Daisy Irene Lowe. I do not have the marriage certificate, but my information says that they were married in 1921 at St. Andrew's Church in Inglewood. Henry and Daisy had 3 children: Elwyn Daisy Coles, Nadine Dudley Coles, and Velda Eileen Urbin Coles. Again, I do not know the circumstances of the ending of this marriage. And finally, Henry's third wife was Elizabeth Pearl Weston. I'm not aware of any children that Henry had with Elizabeth. Once again, I do not have their marriage certificate, but my information says that Henry and Elizabeth Weston were married in 1934 at the Salvation Army Hall in Masterton. An interesting point to note is that Henry's second wife, Daisy Irene Lowe, shares the same surname as my great-grandmother, who was Eva Olive Lowe, maiden name Coles. Eva, as you may remember, married Thomas George Frederick Lowe. However, I am not aware of a connection between this Lowe family and this Lowe family. As far as I know, they are not related, but I would be very interested if anybody could confirm that there was a connection. Back in 1996, when I was conducting research on Henry, I wrote to the Horowhenua District Council trying to locate his gravesite. I do not have Henry's death certificate. At the time, I was living in Wainuiomata under a different name. As you can see here, they replied to me, "Further to our phone discussion on Friday, 28 June 1996, I detail hereunder information as held in our records," and we can see here Henry's headstone information. And it reads, Henry Urbin COLES, loving husband of Elizabeth Pearl, died 6th of June, 1955. And the burial record indicates Henry Urbin COLES from 48 Carlisle Street in Levin, aged 80 years, buried 2 days later on the 8th of June, 1955. Henry's plot information is given as block number 3, plot 46. They also provided me a map of part of the cemetery showing where he was buried. And they indicated it is near the RSA section in the cemetery. When I visited Henry's gravesite, I took a photograph, but the lettering on the stone was so worn that I considered it barely worth keeping. But as per this document, we can read what was inscribed on the headstone. I do note that in our Facebook group, somebody has posted a photograph of Henry's headstone. And finally here, this is the map that was sent to me by the Horowhenua District Council of the cemetery. And we can see here in block number 3, plot 46, is where Henry is buried. Whānau, I hope that this information has proved useful to you, and that it has perhaps clarified how some of us are related, or how all of us are related to each other. Clearly, there is some confusion between the different Lowe families. If you have any questions, comments, or criticisms, please feel free to leave them in the video or in the Facebook group, and I'd be happy to correspond with you. I look forward to making more videos. I certainly have a lot more information to share with you, and I will endeavour to keep doing that over the next days, weeks and months. Take care, like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you again soon. Aroha nui ahau ki a koutou, ka kite anō.